three French hens, two turtle doves,
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Welcome back to the last video of 12 Days of Horror. It's a two-parter. Most of these have been two-parters. So I'm very happy that you guys have been liking these ones because obviously it's let me fit other content in during the month. So this is the last one. Please let me know at the end of this in the comments if you've been liking the series so I know whether to work it out for next year or figure out something so we can keep doing this. But without further ado, you have two more shots. The last one kind of put me to sleep. It was dusty. It was crusty.
It was just like you.
Hey! Okay, you ready?
No.
Oh wow, do you know what this is?
Yeah, I do know what this is.
Oh my god, what does that mean?
You
He
just
looks
have to
very
find it.
nervous behind the camera, guys. Feels cheap.
Books.
It actually does. I don't know how. Like,
Alright, chill out. I bought this one in America.
you bought this in America, so this is the one you don't know if it's gonna play in our DVD player?
I believe it will, but we'll see.
Okay, well it has to be good if you brought it back all the way from our trip in America last year. Cell. I mean, I'm kind of shocked that you looked so surprised. I don't know why I haven't seen this. Are you sure this is a horror movie?
Mm-hmm.
It's not on my list of Stephen King. I've been going through the Stephen King adaptations recently. It is, I think it just got squashed in your bag, to be honest. Well, look at that. John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson, based on the Stephen King novel. I have not read the book. It looks very action-y. Are those zombies or are those people?
I don't know. I
Do
bought it over a year ago.
you remember anything about it?
Nope, I just remembered that there was Samuel L. Jackson and John Cusack in it.
I'm sure everyone at home is screaming because they know this, but I actually have no clue. I feel like I know the name, but there's a couple of the cells because there's the Jennifer Lopez cell.
Is that the one in
The cell? Yeah.
one with what's his name in it?
Is it Vince Vaughn?
Yeah, Vince
Oh, it
Vaughn.
is Vince Vaughn?
Yeah.
I hope I got that right. I think it's
No, it
Jennifer.
is.
No, but I
Oh.
think it's Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah, I don't know if it is, but it's definitely Vince Vaughn. That's the one I was thinking of.
So that's why I think of when I think of Cell, but I've never heard of just Cell because that's the Cell, right?
I think so.
At the Boston airport, Clay witnesses a scene of mayhem when an electronic signal turns hundreds of cell phone users into rabid killers. I'm not going to read the rest because it gives it a break there. And I feel like a lot of these blurbs are giving away a lot.
And some of the blurbs you need to understand the movies.
Yeah.
But so, you know.
So if I feel lost during the film, I'll read the second half. But I thought maybe we'll stop there just because the last blurb I read for the last film gave away like
Everything.
the fun surprise. And I think we get the idea. Okay, I feel like I have heard of this idea, but I don't know if there's another film that does this. Curious. I'm not gonna look up the IMDb rating.
Good.
We'll figure it out afterwards. The sun is going down, so this is gonna be a night watch, which is gonna be exciting. Let's see if Cell is spooky. It doesn't look very spooky, does it?
It does not.
I'm shocked. I actually really liked that film, believe it or not by this, but that ending, I almost want to break my spoiler-free whole system just to talk about what the heck just happened. But I'm going to keep it spoiler-free and let's push that aside for the moment. I just finished Cell. This film, I was actually quite impressed with it. The easiest way to describe this would be like a quirky Walking Dead episode with Samuel L. Jackson and John Cusack, of course, but you know, Jackson's always gonna shine brighter, I feel like. Anyway, yeah, I mean, you can definitely tell it's Stephen King. It really does feel like a mix of The Mist and The Walking Dead. Like, for me, that's what it felt like. I know they're not zombies, but it's just so similar the way they move together, and it works. But as I said, there's some quirks put in there. So the film is about a man who I guess is having some family problems, and he's disconnected from his son, and he's in this airport traveling, and everyone just starts freaking out, and it's the most intense start to the film, I tell you that much. People just start biting off each other's faces, and it's just so intense. And I think it was really interesting that they decided to do the opening scene and kind of the reveal of the whole what even is it, virus in an airport, because there's so much to work with, so many people, so many different types of people, and lots of explosions. Yeah, you might want to visit Does the Dog Die as well. So it's just very intense and random, and yeah, a lot. So moving from there, he finds a bunch of, random people, and they become the group of people trying to survive, and they all have, these interesting backstories and personalities, and yeah, they kind of just move together as a group. Something that I love, obviously, about Stephen King is the way he has such beautiful bromances in these kinds of films. It's all about friendship and respect. And this film went for an hour and 38 minutes, I believe. And within that time, it was able to give you a full rounded story. We'll get to the ending. With also giving you this background to all of these characters that you really loved. And it was quite a tragic, sad, and emotional journey. And I felt myself tearing up at one stage. It also has Isabel Fuhrman, who is known as Esther from Orphan, which is so crazy. Did you know that The Orphan is doing a prequel with her in it, which is so crazy. Anyway, I thought she was great. And she's in this film, so I thought that was cool. There was just so many interesting aspects to this film that really kept me glued to the screen the whole time. I was sitting on the edge of this couch, no joke, just fascinated by what was coming next. But I will say, I can see where this film would definitely lose a lot of people because of how bizarre the rabid virus takes hold. The whole thing is it's technology, and I'm sure there's some kind of, underlining message about humans and how they're just connected through technology and how it's taking over their brains or whatever. But the way the people respond and look, I can imagine this would have been a really awkward production. Thousands of people standing there with their mouths open, trying to look scary. So I don't feel like everyone's going to buy into it, and I get that. It's, as I said, it's quirky, and that's why I use the term quirky. If you're not going to buy into that, if you're going to think that looks silly, if you're not into that almost like fantasy kind of sci-fi element, it's not going to work for you at all. It's just a little bit too quirky, I think, for some people, unfortunately. But something I do think was clever about the film was they're really reluctant to kind of define what's going on and what's happening throughout the whole film. They really are cautious and make some interesting decisions in the start and through the middle. And even at one point, Alice, who is played by Isabel Fuhrman, she says, and I quote, I wrote down the quote, "You can't assume that, it's too early to know the rules." And I thought that was a really good throw to these kind of films where it's survival or zombie or, Bird Box or whatever, and people just assuming they know what's happening. And the way this thing happens, it starts to evolve and change. So it's pretty full on. I will say that the film also, just like The Mist, is very sad. Very tragic, very sad. I'm not talking about the ending. I'm talking about the entire film is just a really sad and depressing journey. It's really dark and gloomy and just weird. And again, I think that might lose a lot of people. As for the ending, this is a film that didn't take its time exploring backstories, but as the rolling stone gathers the moss, the backstories came with the journey, and you really got, this bonding element between all of the characters. And then, the last 20 minutes, I want to say 25 minutes, just like they just found a weird ending and they just went with it, and it was just so far out of the field. I think it probably would have hurt the film tremendously. I haven't looked at the rating, but I do want to see that. Okay. It has a 4.3. I'm actually kind of shocked by that. I didn't think it was that bad. And I mean, I'll still give you my score, but I'm quite surprised by that. But I do think probably the ending. I do want to read. Oh, it's by Todd Williams. I didn't even know that. The director is Todd Williams. Only reason I know Todd Williams obviously is from Paranormal Activity. I do want to see what some people are saying about the ending. Worst adaptation ever. What book did they read? Disappointed book reader. Here we go. Intense start but lazy end. Okay. People did not like this film. I don't know if it's just because I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel with the 12 Days of Christmas, but I didn't think it was that bad. I thought it was really interesting to see kind of a twist on the zombies. And again, it felt like The Mist. It felt dark. It felt gloomy. It felt depressing. And I was quite kind of into that. That's like a fun time for me. So yeah, but I will say the end, I just burst out laughing. And for something like this film made me love the characters. It made me almost cry at one point because something really sad happens. But the end, I just started laughing. It was so bad and so stupid. And I feel bad for them acting out the end scene. Like, it must have been so embarrassing and weird and awkward and strange. This is definitely for more sci-fi buffs. If you're a sci-fi fan, but you also really like zombies, but you want a quirky zombie film, go for it. I think it's going to be one of those things that you're either going to really be enticed by the weird way that these things communicate with each other, or you're going to be like, this is dumb, and you'll hate the whole film. So I was willing to give it a chance and give it something a little bit different, but apparently it's nothing like the book. But of course, I'm judging it as a film on its own, so I can understand a lot of people would be probably really disappointed in it who read the book and loved the book. But I'm actually going to give this film a 6. I enjoyed it. I didn't think, for me, the ending was bizarre, and I was kind of thinking as I was watching it, I do remember this coming into cinema, but I don't remember much people talking about it, but now I know why, because the ending was such a flop, and it makes me want to give it a 5, but I really did enjoy the rest of it. It's one of those hard things. For me, the quirks outweigh the really, really bad ending. So maybe if you're watching it, just turn it off at 1 hour and 20 minutes. Yeah, just pretend like there was an explosion and everyone died. Sorry, my dog just had to jump up on the couch at that second. You want to come here? Yeah, you're all right. So that was day 11. Day 12, guys. We have one more day. Can Dean knock it out of the park? Do you reckon we can get an 8? Is an 8 a possibility? What do you guys think? Make your predictions now down below, and you'll be able to see with the power of editing what the score is, because this is a double feature and this is the end of day 11. So I'll see you tomorrow in a second for you for day 12. What's it gonna be? Good morning and welcome to the final day. Can you believe it?
No.
Okay. Day 12, guys. I'm not going to waste your time. Let's just rip into it. The last day. Ooh.
Who's that dude?
I forget his name. He's from Animorphs, right?
Yeah. It was also just in
you
the
don't know his name either. Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought.
And there was also in The Boys when we were watching it, remember?
Yeah. Oh, that's Milo, starts with B. I don't know who she is. From the executive producers of Superman Returns and 300, which tells me that they're marketing for a superhero action film. Devil's Gate. I think I've seen this one.
If you have, you didn't record it on Letterboxd or...
Yeah, I think this is before my Letterboxd times. It sounds very familiar, Devil's Gate. Interesting. A sci-fi cop thriller with an unexpected twist. But I can't remember it, so that's good. This looks hella creepy, this little thingy on the back. Let's find out what it's about. Maria Pritchard and her son are missing. Maria's husband Jackson, a man with a troubled past, is not returning calls. FBI agent Daria Francis and police deputy Conrad Salter are sent to investigate and find more than they bargained for when they arrive at the family's remote farm outside Devil's Gate in North Dakota. As the night falls, they become trapped in that desolate location. The law enforcement officers must either join forces with the unstable man they suspect of misdeeds or fall victim to the same demons that haunt him. Oh, it says 2018. Maybe I haven't seen it then. Or maybe, I don't know. Okay. I guess I'll have to watch it and find out if I have seen it. But I'm not mad at this at all. I would watch this normally, I guess, if it was on TV, whatever. We normally watch these kind of thriller-ish movies, but looking on the back, it looks like something paranormal is definitely going on. And it's called Devil's Gate, but that's the location, right? So I guess we're just gonna have to watch it and see. Also, I should mention, because these are all DVDs, I'm gonna physically rank these at the end of this episode, so stay tuned for that. Hi friends, I just finished watching Devil's Gate. I mean, bit anticlimactic to end on. This film was alright. It wasn't anything amazing. Okay, so the film is about this specialist FBI agent who comes into this small town to investigate this disappearance of a woman and her child. She wants to go and obviously interview the husband, but the local sheriff of the town warns her against this. And there's a little bit of a power dynamic between both, her being this outer city boss, and, you know, obviously he's a local sheriff, he knows best, and they're very old school, like opening the doors, for the woman, and I don't know, just very old school the way they go about things, and they make a point of this. So it's meant to be showing, you know, big city slicker and the local sheriff. But anyway, because she's called in, she obviously goes against his wishes and goes into the house, the property of the man whose wife has disappeared. And when she's there, she discovers a creature. I'm gonna say a creature. Usually I wouldn't give you that much, but I already showed you the back. It's on the DVD cover, and that's all I'm gonna say. I will say that this film is very heavy on featuring the creature. I'm not going to say what it is or anything like that, but it goes into the history and it gives you all that information. So if you are very interested in seeing and, like, you know, the costuming and all that kind of stuff, this one gives you all the details. It's not hidden in the dark. It gets a lot of airtime. So I actually kind of liked the way they put it together. I thought that was interesting, and yeah, it looked very cool. It reminded me a lot of Signs in a way, just because the way, you know, they present the creature. There's like one bit where they're doing this pan, and then all of a sudden there's this one thing standing in the middle, and it just feels like the same kind of setting. It's set in North Dakota, and I'm not sure where in Signs it's set, but obviously it's in a rural landscape, and, you know, they're in this little like farmhouse, and in this one it's the same. They're in this rural landscape, and yeah, they have farms. So yeah, it's interesting. That's kind of where the interest for me ended. The film is very heavy on explaining and over-explaining the law, and giving you this idea. It's very sci-fi and running with it. But for me, I needed a little bit more tension in what was happening. It just seemed like the idea of the film was bigger than the film itself, and it only runs like a little bit of the course of what is happening. I'm trying to be really vague. So for me, it was okay. Thought the acting was okay. The special effects, they definitely have a mix of practical and CGI or computer generated. So I think that's good. I think, yeah, it was all right. There's a bit of weather stuff that happens that it's a little bit much to swallow. But again, if it's a science fiction film, I think it's okay. I think it's easy, go with the flow. But for me, this was just an average film. There wasn't anything very special about it. I definitely had not seen this film before. I know I thought I had, but with the year it came out, I believe it's 2017. I definitely haven't seen this since I've been on YouTube. Correct me if I'm wrong and I have... Imagine if I had a review somewhere and I love this film. But maybe I was getting I had seen the cover before and then I was getting the name confused with The Devil's Pass, which I think there's 2 films about The Devil's Pass. And maybe that's it. And there's also like a Devil's Highway. I forget what it's called. Yeah, maybe Devil's Highway. Mexican film? Anyway. So yeah, that's kind of it for me. There wasn't a lot to talk about in this one. I felt like the dialogue was very heavy, very wordy, and very much assumptions. They're like, well, this is happening because of this, obviously. And there's one point where she's been in the house for like 10 minutes and she finds out a clue just by looking at this picture. And it's just so funny because like the person who's owned the house never picked up that picture and realized that. But of course, she's got the detective brain. There was just so many things that, oh wow, look at that, a clue laid out there. Oh wow, that must mean this. It was very opposite to yesterday's film where they didn't really know anything and the whole thing was about going in completely blind for them and them not assuming things. So I would say that this one is definitely heavy on the assumption and really wants you to understand what's going on as an audience member so you can get like the message of the story. It's not one of those things where you kind of can piece it together yourself. It's very forced and they really want to give you all the answers and not leave anything up to the unknown, which I think that sometimes with these kind of films, especially if they're like feature-ish, the unknown is what's meant to be scary about them. It's meant to be mysterious and knowing everything is a little bit meh. But I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 10. I think it's not a bad movie by any means. It's just not great. But because it is the 12th day, I decided to get all of my stack here. And I'm going to sort through now where I think everything should lie. Okay, here's my stack. I am very surprised. We'll go from best to worst just because best is on top. Number 1, we have The Wind. Remember that one? Yeah, what a hidden gem. Number 2 is Tarantula. Number 3 is Cell, which is quite surprising. And I haven't put out this day yet, so I'm really curious to see what you guys think of that one because people hate that film and I it's top 3, but slim pickings. Telltale. Devil's Gate. Cat People. You guys loved Cat People. I got a lot of comments about people loving this version. It's just not for me, I guess. But and a lot of people commented on David Bowie being in the credits. So sorry for not mentioning that, but I do love David Bowie. The Black Cat, another cat film. Happy Hunting. This is getting to the lower side of the scale. Slice, which was a hidden disappointment, to be honest. She Killed in Ecstasy, feels like so long ago. Death Warmed Up. This is my second worst, and can you guess the film I liked the least? Cult Girls. So I think the lowest I had was Cult Girls, and then mainly 4s, 5s, a 6 or 2, and we've got 2 7s in there. So yeah, I mean we didn't rate anything 3, didn't rate anything past 7, but that's my stack. Best to worst, or now worst to best. I hope you enjoyed 12 Days of Christmas. It was a journey for me, and I hope you liked the style I did this year, having the 2 cameras. I think it was something fun and different and hopefully a little bit more immersive and interesting to look at. If you do want me to keep doing series like this, please let me know. I know they don't get as much views as my other stuff, but I did really enjoy doing 12 days this way, spacing them out and doing double features. It helped a lot. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your feedback. I'd love to hear it. Please give me suggestions so I know what to do for next year. Right now, obviously, I have until October to decide if I'm going to continue with 13 Days of Horror and 12 Days of Christmas. So I hope you're all staying very safe during this holiday season. Thank you for such an amazing year with my channel. If you have been here for a long time, or even if you're a new subscriber, it really means the world to me. So thank you for being here. I really appreciate all of your support. This channel is my baby, so I love that you also share your passion with horror with me, and that's what this channel is all about. So thank you for being here, and I'll see you next year. I'll see you in a couple of days, let's be real, for my VOD, what's coming out this month. And then I can't wait to jump into all of my top 10s from 2020. I have so many. I tell you what, people say that 2020 wasn't good for horror. I'm about to prove you wrong. Anyway, I hope you're having a great day and I'll talk to you very soon. Stay spooky. Bye. Merry Christmas.